Hey, 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 happy days, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with a pink flamingo, which is the closest I could find to an ostrich because they're kind of tall. They're not nearly as tall as an ostrich. And then my North American wildlife matching deck from the Yellowstone National Park. My son brought this back for my granddaughter and I to play with, which we had fun, and I thought, oh, maybe there's an ostrich card in there because I can't find the ostrich this morning. I know we have an ostrich in the house somewhere, although we might not have it. It might be at my son's house, it might be at his grandmother's house, it could be at my granddaughter's house, but I couldn't find it here, so I blew it off and I found a pink flamingo to illustrate our idiom today, which is bury your head in the sand. Now, bury your head in the sand means to, of course, ignore a dangerous situation, not know what's going on around you, to hide from any sign or any obvious sign of danger, right? This expression, it's really funny because people are wrong about it, including me. I thought ostriches buried their head in the sand until I read this, and now I'm a little embarrassed to admit that I didn't know it wasn't true. But apparently, in Roman times, Pliny the Elder, I have no idea who Pliny the Elder is, but he wrote about and talked about ostriches burying their head in the bushes. Now, it turns out that ostriches don't bury their heads at all. They don't ever bury their heads. It was believed that they buried their heads so that they couldn't see their enemies coming, and they believed that if they buried their heads, their enemies wouldn't see them. Okay, pretty ridiculous, right? But that was what was rumored or believed about ostriches. Well, it turns out they don't bury their heads at all. They don't hide their heads in bushes. They just lower their heads to the ground in order to eat berries or bugs or whatever, insects, whatever it is that they eat. I guess I don't know what ostriches even eat. Something I could look into. Maybe if I get curious, I will. Maybe the granddaughter and I will look into what ostriches eat today. But the point is, they're super duper tall, and when they bend over and have their head down, people believed that they don't move very much because they're eating things on the ground, that their head was buried in the sand, which is, of course, now to me ridiculous, even though I totally believed it for all of these years up until reading it yesterday, right? So that's embarrassing for me. But how many times do we believe something's true only to find out that our interpretation of it is not right or not true or not based on the intent that someone else was putting forth, right? A lot, often, like almost every day we find something out. Anytime we assume, I mean, they say the expression, anytime you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. That is an expression for a reason, because so often as human beings, we assume things about other people, other businesses, our competition, the world, right? We assume how things are, and we don't always investigate. Sometimes we need to just really ask more questions and dig more deeply and find out if it's even true. A lot of times it's easy to believe things or ignore the signs of things. I am super guilty of ignoring the signs of things, especially things that I don't want to see or I don't want to deal with. I did that in my relationship with my ex-husband. I didn't want to see what was going on with that relationship because it was one more thing in my little red wagon that I didn't want to deal with. I had a business partner. I didn't see or want to see that he was a real schmuck and that I needed to do something about it until it exploded and caused all kinds of problems in my life and in the lives of a lot of other people. I didn't see that I wasn't paying attention to my health until I ended up bedridden on more than one occasion. I hate to admit it, but I repeated that pattern until I had a sudden cardiac arrest and a massive wake-up call that taught me that I need to put my health and my wellness and my well-being at least on the give it some time and some resources and some energy to take care of. So my question for you today is, it's going to be kind of a different one. Do you know that how we see things is filtered through all of our past experiences? Every experience, everything that we've ever felt, heard, thought, or believed filters what we're even willing to see, what we even have the ability to see or to notice. So my question for you today is, how are you feeling right now? What's going on? Let's do a self-audit, a self-check, because how we're doing determines and totally impacts and decides the direction and the trajectory of what we're going to do about our businesses. No matter what our business situation is right now, it all starts with us and the direction and the vision and the leadership that we're going to show or not show based on how we're feeling, right? So self-audit today. How are you feeling? Question one. and just check in with it. How am I feeling? Am I feeling nervous? Am I feeling worried? Am I feeling excited? Am I feeling curious? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling frustrated? How are you feeling? Just ask yourself right now, hey, how am I feeling? And then follow that up with, well, what am I thinking about right now that's causing me to feel that? Because we don't feel any feeling without first thinking about something that triggers that feeling. Even if we just wake up first thing in the morning and we kind of wake up on the wrong side of the bed, the first thing I do, because I'm human, I wake up on the wrong side of the bed sometimes, and the first thing I do is I lay there. I don't get out of the bed. If I'm feeling ornery or grumpy or worried or doubtful or fearful at all, I don't step foot out of that bed anymore until I ask myself, well, what am I thinking about? What was I dreaming about? Sometimes we just have bad, crazy dreams. I don't know about you, but during this COVID thing, I have had some of the most ridiculous, far-fetched, hilarious, they're really hilarious dreams that I've ever had in my life. I am sleeping like a rock, which is really unusual for a lot of people, but I am sleeping like a rock and I'm having some crazy dreams. So sometimes I'll wake up and I'll have a feeling, and then I ask, okay, well, what was I dreaming about? One, I was dreaming about there was no place that had a working toilet and toilet paper. I was at some camp. I don't even know why, because it was like a kids' boys camp, and I don't even have boys. I've got, I have a son, but it was just weird, right? That's what our dreams do, is they pick pieces of what's going on in our life and how we're feeling, and they serve them up to us in a weird and creative way. But how am I feeling, and then what am I thinking? Am I just thinking about something, and then I ask myself, is it true? Is what I'm thinking about even true? No, it was a weird dream. It's not true. And then after I tap into, okay, well, what am I thinking about? Is it what I want to be thinking about? Is it making me feel better or worse? If it's making me feel better, I find a different thought. But then I ask myself, what am I doing? What are you doing about what you're thinking and about what you're feeling? Because there's always something that we can do about anything right now. Even if we feel like we're stuck in the mud and there's nothing we can do, there is always infinite possibilities. There are always infinite possibilities around us of what we can do right now. We need to focus on the solutions. We need to focus on what we can do, not what we can't do. So that's it. That's my little diatribe for today about burying our head in the sand and not knowing that something doesn't mean what we think it means. Maybe you've never done that, but I certainly have. And I guess I can admit it. I'm old enough to confess that I mess stuff up sometimes. So that's it. Go out, have an absolutely amazing day. Think about, do your self-audit. Are you burying your head in the sand? Are you just waiting for this to be over and ignoring what's going on, thinking that the world is going to just turn right back on and everything's going to go back to the exact way it was before? Because that would be a prime example of burying our heads in the sand. If you're still doing that almost a month into this, it's time for a definite self-check and self-audit. If you need help with that, or if you have any questions about it, just ask. I'm here to help. I am on a massive helping mission throughout this crisis and throughout this challenge, because that's what I love to do. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you be able to apply it to your life, your business, your situation right this very minute? And then pick out and do what works for you. Take care. Have an amazing day, and I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.